can we start by just telling us something about yourself?
I'm Apala Lamichane and I am currently studying in my final year. I'm studying BSc CSIT at Coventry University through Software College in Kathmandu, Nepal.
So my name is Mitesh. I study at Aston University. I'm doing my master's in business analytics.
My name is Onyinyechi Wokoro. I'm Nigerian and I'm a master's student studying at the University of Coventry.
My name is Prozul Kharka. I'm from Nepal and I am pursuing my bachelor's degree in computing from Software College of IT and E-commerce.
I'm currently a master's student in data science at Nottingham Trent University. My situation is quite different from others on the course, as I'm a mature student coming back to university after spending several years gaining different work experience after my bachelor's.
You performed extremely well in this task, and it's one that many people worry about, the practical task for job applications. How did you find the experience of practicing this in our environment?
I think the first time that I tried something like this, of course I had worked with data before, but with this competition factor included, I had not done it before. And so for this sprint, I worked with a churn related data set using Python. I started with cleaning the data with pandas, and then I explored the columns to understand what each features were about and what each variables represented. And then I looked at the relationships between the variables, and then I tried to visualize them using the pandas libraries.
Definitely. It was definitely a fantastic experience. What particularly was very useful for me was the extended time limit. Normally the job simulations are, you get 1 week. This one gave you 3, so that was absolutely fantastic. It can get daunting because these uni work and all as well. And then there are times when you when you're doing it and you're like, well, obviously someone's going to do it better than me, so why should I even bother? Those happen. Sometimes the way the submission is requested for feels extra effort. For example, some people might request for a Power BI file, some people request a recorded interview, which was the case here. Some people require just PowerPoint presentation, so you feel there's that extra effort to do, but it's definitely worth it. Great thing is that I actually did this and then I submitted it. Well, I started doing it, then left it completely for a bit, which is how I've been approaching most of these problems, and then coming back to it because that gives me a fresher mind, fresher perspective, new look on the way I was doing things, which means I can gather new ideas on it. And then I left it again, and then I was like, well, I have a few days left, I might as well just record it and hit submit. I never knew when it's going to be perfect, to be fair. I don't know if it's perfect even now, but the point was, the deadline's here, I have done the best I can, so I'll just submit it. Fortunately though, I'm really glad I did this particular one, because just last week I finished an actual job simulation one that, I applied somewhere and they sent a bunch of data and they needed a Power BI dashboard. So this was spot on. It taught me what I need to do. It gave me the confidence that, okay, what I'm doing is towards the right direction. I just need to apply it in real now. So that was fantastic.
Well, it was very interesting because at the time that the opportunity came about, it was actually my final semester in school. So I had my dissertation I was working on. I had also another course that I was doing. So it wasn't the most favorable time for me. And I remember like on the day that we were supposed to submit, which was like on the 28th of November. So that week was actually the week of all the deadlines. So it wasn't even the easiest thing at all. But I just remember telling myself that, okay, nothing in life ever comes so easy. But even if I don't win or I don't qualify, let me just try my hands with the things that I've been taught in class and just gain the experience. So that was literally what I was thinking about at the time.
Unlike our semester project, this was quite intense and exciting at the very same time. Obviously, the time constraints and the knowledge gap. It was first time for me to work in such field or like work in real world like projects. I was quite nervous at the very beginning, but as I started doing it, as I went with it, so I felt comfortable, and definitely this sprint boosted my confidence, my learning, and definitely helped improve my decision making.
I would say it was good fun participating in the sprint. I found the project to be very challenging, but it was also very interesting as well. I think it also was a benefit. Quite a few students on my course, they had also signed up. So during the project itself, we were, having conversations with each other, updating each other on where we were having challenges, giving pieces of advice. So it built that kind of student community there as well around it. And then as well, like it's kind of taken a different trajectory after we got the results. We're still speaking about the sprint. We're sharing presentations with each other and just really taking it, I suppose, that one step further. It wasn't my idea to ask for people's presentations, but one student asked me, "Oh, could I see yours?" And I was like, "You know what? I'll see yours too," and just going around asking people.
What would you say to someone who is thinking about entering a sprint but not sure? Do you have a message for them?
At this point of my life, I feel like I should not, anybody should not be scared of entering competitions, because that's where you actually learn about things. Like, of course, students might feel like they are not ready, or like they don't feel ready enough. And that's what keeps most of the students from entering these competitions. But I feel like, there is a saying that if you don't take your car out on the road, you'll never learn how to drive. So yeah, that's the same thing I would like to tell them.
I think you might not be good enough to your standard yet, but you can't really know until you put yourself out there and compare it with the others. So you never know if you're just going to stay and do your own tasks and never get them, publicly out there, someone else to evaluate. You'll never know how good or bad they are. You'll never be able to get feedback. If you're good, you won't have the confidence to know that it's good. If you're bad, you won't have the right feedback to help you get good. So I'd just say do it. It does take extra effort, no doubt about it, but it's exciting because it also gives you an additional task to put on your portfolio. The moment I finished mine and it was evaluated, I put it straight on my GitHub. So obviously I have my GitHub link on my CV and everyone can afterwards see it. And I read somewhere that, it's important that you keep putting stuff on your GitHub, even if they're not the most perfect solutions, because then it would show employers progress. That, this was what you submitted or uploaded, say in 2025, and this is what you're uploading in 2026. So there's an obvious improvement in the way you're working, which is also something interesting to see. So I'll say go for it, not because you want to win or not because you want to, just get bragging rights, but I would say just so you can get feedback. For me, that was quite important because there were things that I did that I found were the most obvious to do. But then when I got Rohan's feedback, it was like some of the things he told me no one else had done, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, that's obviously fantastic. Another thing I would tell them is it can get a bit daunting with the technical tasks. What I do as best practice, and I have been doing on all my internships, is anytime I make any assumption, anytime I make any calculation, I just jot it down on the notepad or something so that I can submit that alongside it. It just shows technical proficiency. And another thing is, if the particular visual looks too hard to do, just start from the basics and plot it on a piece of paper. Just draw the bar graph and pretend you know the data trend so that you can see what you want on the paper, and then you can try replicate that on the dashboard. So that makes it much easier. So that's sort of some of the fears of technicalities, that would help you out.
Definitely. I would say a couple of things. So firstly, bet on yourself. You might not necessarily have all the answers, but you would figure things out on your way, and definitely with the guidance and all the knowledge that you've probably gotten before. Because I'm thinking most people who would enter this competition would maybe be from data science or computer science or business analytics programs, or even if you just have interest in the field, I would just say bet on yourself and get the experience. And another thing that also helped me simultaneously with my degree was I would often do courses on data camp. So I definitely recommend, being maybe a student or an associate, a part of the Institute of Analytics membership. So that would also give you extra knowledge, because I know that data camp does have a couple of courses on churn analysis and things like that. So don't just depend on the schoolwork. Read books, read your school textbooks, go online, go on YouTube, take courses. And the third thing, like I said from my previous point, is that nothing would ever come easy. Like I mentioned, I was in the thick of dissertation, and the way dissertations are done here is very different from my country. So I was juggling a lot of new things at the same time. And that was the week I was also supposed to submit that. So yeah, don't give up on yourself and don't expect things to always be perfect. Yeah,
I do, because I was there at one point, like just before I started this competition. Like I was over there, like, shall I compete or not? Like I was scared. What I would really like to say is, do not wait for the right time. Like there is nothing like right time. Like you can never be perfectly prepared for what's coming up. Just believe you can do it and you will do it.
I would tell them to go for it, really, because ultimately you've got nothing to lose. For me, it was great being one of the winners, but even if I didn't win, I felt like that the experience I had was amazing. That's just, being able to put my skills to the test. I found the webinars that Rohan did to be very helpful, useful, gave lots of insights to help within the project. And then as well, we had the Google Classroom with yourself and Rohan, and very supportive throughout. So it's not like you're there on your own throughout the whole time. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention of it too was that as well to another student is that obviously we get all this work that we do from our university, but this is something extra that you could put on something like a portfolio. I took this project as well with some old projects that I'd done during my undergraduate and just made that portfolio to showcase my skills. And then I was even able to bring it out at an interview, gave me something to talk about with the interviewers, and kind of put my best foot forward.
What would you plan to do when you graduate?
I'm extremely interested in AI and data. However, I'm not a person that can choose fields that I don't have that choosing factor in my mind. And I like exploring different areas of technology. And so I'm not fully sure what path I'll take yet, but I would love to work on projects that have real world impacts and something that's related with tech, of course. Yeah.
So it's obviously been an exciting year, lots of learning experiences, lots of change in passions, lots of change in skills that I have. At the moment, I'm continuing my job hunt. I'm originally from Kenya. I came to the UK just for my master's, so I'm open to work anywhere. And I'm just trying to look for the right fit for me, the place where I can bring my skills and they're valued, where I'm not just another piece of staff they have, but rather an important cog in their machine. I'm really looking for those kinds of careers, so that's what I'm focused on right now after submitting my dissertation, just continuing my job hunt. Obviously, it's not easy, but I guess it's just like the IoA submission. You just have to do it, and then you'll get feedback whether you got it or not. But yeah, that's my plans for now. Ultimately, I do wish that I'll be going back home and setting up my own data company. But yeah, that's a more long-term plan.
Okay, so I am considering going for a couple of graduate trainee programs, especially in Trainline. I'm very excited about the company and the transportation sector and how they utilize analytics within their operations. So that's something I'm definitely considering, if not within Trainline, within other great companies as well. So strategy related roles, business analytics related roles, those are within my purview.
Obviously, this sprint proved my interest in data. I would love to work on data, but currently for my final year, I am working on a virtual reality-based chemistry lab simulation. So a chemistry lab where students can safely perform experiments and it can be evaluated by the schools or institute easily. So I'm looking forward to combine educational tech with the data skills that I attained to try and solve some problems, I guess, to bring out positive educational outcomes.
Yeah, so I'm in a situation where I'm transitioning into field of data science. My background was really different. At undergraduate, I did physics and maths, but I've been working in administration and sales since then. But since kind of bachelor's, I've always been interested in that computational mathematics, doing lots of data analysis and modeling in MATLAB. So really then, while I was working, I've been using things like different databases, different visualization softwares like Power BI as a user, where different analytics were being put there. And I always wanted to, I was more curious from my end of how everything worked, and wanted to be the one more setting it up than just using it to be able to do my day-to-day at the role. And then, so that kind of motivated me, go back to university. My interest is really in learn those new programming languages like Python, SQL, using them to clean and analyze data sets. As well, my interest is to be able to communicate that with people who are non-technical, using, smart visualizations, so you can get your point and conclusions across to people. So I think that all of that combined together will help me to, move forward to next steps, which my ambition is to get a placement as either data analyst, data scientist, and then, hopefully that'll put me in a good long-term position for fulfilling career.